Okay, guys, welcome to a mapping scenario of what if the Soviet Union here declared war on NATO, basically right after Japan surrendered, right? Um, so the USSR, right, and Stalin here, and right, so Stalin, bro. Oh crap, why is it on fill? Right, here's Stalin. Oh, I'm just drawing a squiggle. Right, this guy, he's Stalin, totally. He looks so much like Stalin. Right. So, Stalin's all chill, he's just won his war. He's very happy. God's sake, I can't move. Why can't I move? Um, yeah, and Stalin's all happy. And, over here, this guy, it's Churchill, guys. Please don't ask why Churchill looks like that. I can't draw. Okay, right, this is Churchill. He's got a top hat on to signify that he's Churchill and not Stalin. Right, and he thinks up his little mission Unthinkable, right? And the Russians are all like, ah, crap, they're all gonna do it. Stalin's like, oh no, mate, they're actually gonna come and invade us. So they put all their troops up on the front lines, ready for them, right? Because well, actually, they don't do it because of that. So Stalin here, he thinks, hey, you know what? Why don't we invade them now while our troops are still on the front line? And they've just pulled theirs off before they can put their troops back ready to action. Right? Because they just sent all their troops off to go fight in the Japanese front, which just ended. So why don't we go attack here before they do that? Right? Before they put their troops back and they get them ready. Because Stalin really believes they're about to do Mission Unthinkable. I mean, it's unthinkable. But he doesn't. He doesn't care. So he's like, why am I just spamming undo? What's it even doing? Why is that even an option? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, um, yeah. So Stalin, he puts his troops and he sends them to go invade, and we have the U.S. portion of Austria, I think, being cut off from the French and the British portions. Then we have right, which is supposed to basically capitulate all the U.S. forces here, and then we have the East Germans spearheading for Bonn, which was the West Germans' capital, and also cutting off Hanover from the rest of Germany. Then we have the capitulation of Germany and Austria because, I mean, they were literally just in a world war, draining themselves, trying to own on the entire continent, which they got very close to doing, and then they had to stop because they lost. And that is, yeah, probably not very good. They then very quickly push into Belgium and Luxembourg, who again, they've just been occupied. They're probably not doing too well. So, yeah, and after they do that, they then start to push into France. They're trying to spearhead it again to Paris. Kind of like how the Germans wanted to, which worked, and capitulated the French. So this time the French have also been to war, so it's not really going to last very long. Right? Then we have these lot capture Paris, and the French are probably thinking of surrendering. They also capture Denmark very quickly, and start invading into Norway, which is going to lead to Norway probably capitulating pretty dang soon. Yeah. happened? Hang on. Why can't I move? Oh my god, I'm so bad at moving this camera. Right. Then the Italians. They joined the war. Right? They put Mussolini back in power. If Mussolini ever came out of power, I'm fairly sure he just stayed in power, didn't he? But yeah, if he didn't, they put him back in power. And they joined the Soviet invasion into France. And then the Spanish also help. I don't know why Italy just. Oh, that's because I added that in later. Yeah. Please note that Italy was in the war, but oh yeah, Spain also joined in against the French. I don't know why I didn't put any Spanish gains in as well. Oh, while we were all busy in France, um, I completely missed weird as cripe rip-off Operation Sea Lion. Why does that not exist? They didn't do that. They just did Operation Sea Lion. Okay, well apparently I must have cut one out by accident because they were supposed to land in Cornwall and Canterbury and then push in and capitulate the UK. Or also, by the way, Norway did capitulate. But apparently they just capitulate the UK straight off. Wait, why was the Asian front happening right then? I thought I deliberately put it on different sides. Oop. Well, that's not smart. Oh, wait. No, I think that's because it just started. Right, so, then we have the Chinese, and the North Koreans are gonna dogpile in on South Korea. Well, they still can. So, they go around, they surround Seoul. Like, why did I say that? Say it like that. Seoul? I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Then they capture Seoul. I don't think anything else is happening. Right, so then they capture Seoul. I keep calling it that. Seoul. I can't say it. And then they push them back, and South Korea capitulates. Can't move camera. Also, the Chinese, they launch an invasion of Taiwan to depose the fake China. And I forgot to colour this in, but the Philippines is a US puppet that will come and help later. Uh, you know, you know what? We'll just colour that in now. It'll be in a really weird colour, but oh, that's because I'm on the wrong layer. That's not what I just did. No, so that colour. Right, yes. Now, right, this is the Philippines. They're supposedly a US puppet. Or at least they were back then. They were US occupied, I think it was. And they are also going to invade that to basically help kick the US out. I just forgot to include that, except I still remembered to include it in the peace deal, which is weird as crap. So yeah, we'll have the Chinese also capitulate that North Island. Then the Chinese conquer North Taiwan and the Philippines. Oh, right. Then the Philippines surrender. Arrgh! Crap, I just opened File Explorer. Sorry, guys. Right. But yeah, anyway, the South. I just almost called them the South Koreans. The Philippines then capitulate. And now back to This Way We Go. Then the Russians invade Iceland and Greenland. And they then push into Quebec. And then they push through Alaska into a whole bunch of Canada. And so they then surrender, and we have this peace deal. Right? So, we get a unified Korea under North Korea, which probably isn't the best way to unify Korea, but we have China annexes Taiwan. We have a Chinese puppet on Japan. Again, don't know how that happened. It's just complete magic, because I forgot to include that. But apparently China also invaded Japan, because they're also a US puppet, I think, at that time. Although they were like US occupied. I don't know. Well, either way, they go and invade and take Hirohito out of power again. And yeah, they put a Chinese guy on the thing, which is kind of funny. You know, why? They also get a puppet on the Philippines, which is very nice for China. Now to the Europe peace deal. Oh, for Christ's sake. Right, so, oh my God, what happened here? I don't know. But Germany is unified with Denmark and the rest of Germany, and they get a chunk of Belgium, all of Luxembourg, and a whole bunch of France as well, Alsace-Lorraine, you know. They then give France's Mediterranean coast away, with Italy getting quite a bit, and they'll come to me again, and Spain getting the rest. Then we see Soviet Norway, and the Soviet Union also owning on a whole bunch of this. Right? Then we see. Can't scroll. I can't use the WASD keys and it's gonna get on my nerves. We have Iceland, Greenland, and a few of the Canada islands forming their own country. I don't know how realistic that would be, because I don't know, I pity them. And then we see the Russians get back Alaska from America. And that will do it for today's scenario, I think. I think that's all I had. I don't know how long this recording is. It's probably not particularly long. Yeah, no, it's like 12 minutes. Okay, I probably need to add something else to this. So you know what? I'll go on about how it would continue. So from there, I say we have, for God's sake, Finland, right? This is Finland. I don't know why I made them the same white as the sea. We have Finland get invaded. I'm just gonna like steal that Soviet Union invasion color. Nice one. Right, so we see the Soviet Union invade Finland for yet another time. I just want to make it big. Just let me make it big. Aha, I have an idea. Right. So, we have the Finnish capitulate a whole bunch of that. Sorry, the Finnish. I can't speak today. Honestly, I am losing the ability to speak. And they also push into a whole bunch of this. They then curl around, capitulating all of that. And this would push, and then maybe we then have the Finns surrendering. So let's take a look at what a peace deal would look like. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Russia would just fully annex them because they used to be part of the Russian Empire. They would just be like, "Yeah, buddy, we want that back." So we will make that change to the map. There's my little colour pick here, and yeah, and then we will just crap. We have Finland. Just get capitulated. Well, not capitulated, annexed. Oh, for God's sake. No, no, crap, that just made it a whole bunch worse. Why did it do that? Because that's not what I wanted it to do. Okay. Nope. I'm just struggling. Maybe. Yes, chisel tip pen's a pretty big pen and doesn't look too much different. Right, okay. So then they just get rid of Finland? I don't know why I didn't know their name for a sec, but yeah. They completely annexed Finland. But yeah, we have the Soviet Union annexing Finland. And yeah, this is honestly a huge victory for communism across the world. They just took out like the major contender and set them back like quite a while. Never really took anything. Whew, why am I struggling to breathe so much? From the USA. Why can I barely breathe? Yeah, they didn't take any land from the USA, but they totally exhausted them. I don't know why this is still free. If it was, I assume it was UK land, but I don't think the Canadians would like that. So yeah, give me back my chisel tip here. And how about this? No, that doesn't work. That does not work the same way a chisel tip pen works. I think it's just like, yeah, it's just a really weird shaped brush. But yeah, so I almost called them the Canadians. The Canadians, the Canada people, they gain newfound land. But yeah, so we have that happen, and we have fascist Spain. I don't know why, again, that took me so long. Fascist Spain and Benito Mussolini sign a little alliance to like help not get defeated by the communists, because the communists would probably be like, Jesus Christ, bro, it's fascism. We hate fascism. We did just team up with them to go beat the French up, but boo, we hate fascism. Also, by the way, they got some. That looks like a really smooth curve. I didn't realize that was even possible. But anyway, What I was trying to say was they got some of Austria. I don't know why it took me so long to say that one either. I'm just not braining today. Yeah. Then I think we see these two basically just go absolutely insane, trying to spread their influence so that hopefully they don't get killed. So maybe we see a war between Spain and Portugal, which just results in Portugal practically instantly capitulating because I'm really dumb. So yeah, they would then get that. And I mean, the Portuguese public would be like kind of split as to how good of a thing this is, because the Portuguese did kind of support the fascist Spanish in that civil war, but they also probably didn't like it because now they don't exist anymore. So like you get, they saw what happened to Germany after they went fascist, and they're just like, we don't know whether we like this or not. It would take a little less work for the Spanish to absorb them, but it'd still take quite a bit. Then I think we'd see maybe Italy and Spain then go after Africa. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming it's what's left of the French colonies, but I assume they all just released all of them. So because the Soviet Union couldn't be bothered with them, they're just going to be a massive African superstate. Because I have no clue how to divide that up. So yeah, then we have Les Italiens. They just are gonna annex this. They're just gonna annex you. Also, they're gonna go straight on back to annexing Libya, but not Libya. Wait, no, actually, they wouldn't do that because they're communist, aren't they? Because that's communist, that's communist, that's communist, but they're all just not Russia puppets. So yeah, they would get. It'll come to me very soon. Nope, I honestly can't remember what it's called. And then they would invade Libya because that has historic Italian ties. And just like that, Mussolini has undone all territorial effects of the what do you call it? The Second World War. So that gets him a whole bunch of popularity. And then they kinda wanna, push out. But first they are gonna want the Iberians to also come into Africa. So we see, yep, and just a little bit of, just a little bit of re-annexing former colonies. So they get a whole bunch of that. They just gonna own Morocco because I think Morocco was still in their little funny state with West Sahara, which I don't know whether it's a country or not. I would ask you to tell me in the comments, but I know that would just equal war, and I don't know whether my country actually recognizes it or not. I'm from the UK, so if you could tell me that, that would be amazing. That I think was Spanish already, and I'm just really dumb. If it wasn't, then it wasn't. I'm very sorry. If it was, then it was. If it wasn't, that random tiny place just got invaded. Yeah, that's totally how that works. Um, yeah. Why did I switch off? Tis a tip pen. Yeah. So that's them gone, and then they're going to. Why is my microphone sounding like it's not recording anything? I think it's recording. If it's not recording anything, then that's gonna be bad. Yeah. Then we have the Spanish would then go and invade West Sahara. And again, that wouldn't take very much. So that's why they just are gonna annex, annex, annex. Just gonna annex, annex, annex. It's the year 2000. And now, see, there's this one country. It used to be a colony of France. But these two both now border. That these two both now border. And yeah, they're just gonna attack that while you're at it. You know? Just invade that. So I think at first we see some Spanish invasion. Probably around 7:30. So then I think, oh, where did I have the Spanish to all that? So yeah, then we would have what do you call it? The Spanish then capitulate some of this, and the Italians would then shove their army in the Algerian spaces. And despite the fact that it is very incompetent, it is a bit more competent than the Algerian army, because the Algerian army is non-existent probably currently, because they just got released from France. So they would immediately start to cut across here, capturing their capital, and then they would start a little campaign which would be cut them off from the sea. That would go very successfully for the Italians, weirdly. And so would be go for the Spanish. I really cannot speak today. I honestly just have lost my ability to speak. I don't know what it is, I've just lost it. My ability to speak. And yeah, just like that, we would have the Algerians capitulate. So I'm gonna divide that up, and I think that will be it for today. So, I can barely do much because my brain is not braining. So I think we see the Italians. They're gonna take quite a bit. They're gonna take a majority of the land. They're just gonna take like the east, and then the Spanish will get the rest. So yeah, that's a pretty solid division of Libya for both the Italians, I don't know what the hell, and the Spanish. So yeah, that is probably about where I'm gonna do it for today's video, guys. Yeah, it was a very interesting little video that we just had. Lots happened. I hope you enjoyed it. I spent ages making this scenario on my phone because fun, and then I realised, wow, this would make an amazing video. And then I spent ages going through a whole kerfuffle to try and figure out how I was supposed to get it onto my computer. Because I didn't even have a sketchbook on my computer until about 20 minutes ago. So yeah. But that will probably do it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's. I literally just said that. I literally just said that. Yeah, I probably wasn't. It probably wasn't the best choice to record a video today. When my brain is about a third, I'd say, functioning. Also, I'm really excited for the Ada's Pro, what do you call it, premiere for episode 66 of What is Civilization Started Over. Go subscribe to him. He's amazing. Watch all his videos. Specifically, watch his Wixo series. It's absolutely amazing. It's like the guy who created the whole like idea of the What Civilization Started Over thing series. Or yeah, really the first guy I heard about doing it. So yeah, yeah. And with that, goodbye.